Hi everyone, hope you are all doing well. This video contains some guidance about how to prepare some macarons using the Make Your Own Vegan Macarons kit from Artisan Chocolaterie. So let's see how we can create those beauties. Soft inside but crispy on the outer edge.
Option 1 of Make Your Own Vegan Macarons contains a flyer with the details of the website where you can order from, written full instructions on how to prepare the vegan macarons and vegan ganache, also a description of what is in the box. You've got the potato protein, then xanthan gum, almond powder mixed with icing sugar and beetroot powder used as organic coloring. All you need is 150 grams of caster sugar and you're ready to go. Option 2 includes whatever option 1 has, plus parchment paper, a piping bag and a nozzle to pipe your macarons. Option 3 contains, along with whatever option 2 contains, a bag of vegan chocolate. First thing to do when you decide to prepare your macarons is to hydrate the potato protein. Empty the sachet of 7 grams of protein into a bowl with 112 grams of water, cold water. Mix and then place the bowl into the fridge for a minimum of 30 minutes. You can prepare the mix and leave the protein to hydrate in the fridge overnight if you prefer. While protein is sitting in the fridge, I will prepare a pot with 40 grams of water placed on top of a heating plate, a thermometer, 150 grams of caster sugar, a stand mixer with a whisk attachment. You can use a hand mixer, but you might need someone's help along the way. A large bowl where to empty the content of that mix of icing sugar, almond powder and coloring. Some silicone mats for piping the macarons, or if you don't have them, then some parchment paper will do. Maybe use a template placed underneath the parchment paper for better control of the size of the macarons. A piping bag and a nozzle. I'm using number 12 from Wilton, and you can place the piping bag into a tall jug, so that will help you to control the bag once you start filling the bag. Set the oven to warm up at 140 degrees Celsius and then get the protein ready hydrated from the fridge. Pour 75 grams of protein into the bowl and reserve the rest for later use. Add the xanthan gum to the potato protein. I'm using about 0.02 grams of xanthan gum. Don't use more because the content will get too gummy and it will be impossible to work with. Then start beating with slow speed in order to create an even structure with very small air pockets, which will sustain the structure of this vegan meringue. After a minute of beating with low speed, increase the speed to medium and start cooking the sugar over medium heat. Place the sugar, either caster or granulated, 150 grams over the 40 grams of water and start cooking the sugar. Now ideally will be to reach the correct temperature, which is about 116 to 117 degrees, at the same time when the structure of your meringue is ready to go. Following the instructions, it will take about 4 minutes for the meringue to reach the correct consistency, and at the same time your sugar solution will reach the correct temperature. As you can notice, the mix is quite aerated and fluffy, so I will increase the speed to maximum and I will start pouring the hot sugar into a stream. The pouring process, it will take about a minute and a half, and the speed of the mixer is at the maximum. After finishing pouring the whole amount of hot syrup, you need to leave the mixer at a high speed to beat for another 4 minutes. That will allow the sugar solution to get fully incorporated, and also it will cool down the meringue. This is the texture you should achieve at the end. Now that the meringue is ready to go, I will pour the remaining amount of potato protein over my dry ingredients, icing sugar, almond powder and coloring, and I will just fold in gently. Then little by little I will add some of the meringue, folding in this meringue after each addition till it all gets incorporated. We are aiming to reach a lava-like consistency, similar with the one we aim for when we prepare the ordinary macarons. It is actually quite easy to obtain this correct consistency when you make vegan macarons. The lava-like consistency is important as it will allow the macarons to relax and get the nice shape before baking. When the mixture looks even in color, and if you lift the palette and pour some of the mixture into the bowl, the ribbon disappears in less than half minute, then you are ready to go. Pour the mixture into the prepared piping bag. Twist the end of the bag to create a good pressure, then turn over and cut the tip of the bag. If you are worried that the consistency might not be so runny as you would like, bang the bag on the table for 2-3 more times. Make sure that the end of the bag is twisted and you've got good pressure inside of the bag. Keep the bag perpendicular onto your piping mat. Start squeezing to release enough mixture to create the shape and size required. Once you finish piping the macarons in one mat, just keep the mat secure with one hand and the shake with the other to help the macarons to relax and lose the air bubbles which might show up at the top of the shell. If there are still air bubbles visible, use a toothpick and help them to escape before the macarons will get a skin on the top. To speed up the process of creating that skin on the shells, put a little fan and blow some air over the macarons. In the meantime, continue to pipe the rest of the mixture. When you pipe, keep the bag perpendicular onto the mat. Squeeze, keep the end of the tip buried onto the mix while piping. Then stop the pressure and just flick away. Then give another shake to relax the macarons and use a toothpick to remove the excess air bubbles. Continue to pipe till you finish piping the whole mixture. Leave the macarons to dry on the side. I've managed to get about 90 shells, but the number of shells will depend on the size of the macarons. If you use a fan to dry the macarons, the drying process will be fairly quick. After about 5 to 6 minutes, you will notice that the skin is already created and macarons are pretty much safe to touch. If you notice that there is still mixture coming on your finger, leave the fan on for another minute or so, then turn off. Place the very first piped macarons in the oven. Oven was preheated at 140 degrees. We'll set the baking time to 14 minutes and then we'll pick the fan option for baking. Macarons will obviously start baking and after about 9 to 10 minutes they will look pretty much done. When the 14 minutes have gone, we'll check the macarons and see how they look like. If when you touch the top they are still moving a little, leave them on for another minute. Depending on the oven, the baking time might be 14 to 15 minutes at 140 degrees. Once the macarons are done, leave the mat on the side to cool down completely. Then push with your finger from underneath the mat and help the macarons to release one by one. Try and be gentle while releasing the macarons, as they are quite fragile. They are really soft inside, but dry and crispy on the outer edge. Those can be filled immediately and served, or they can be stored in the fridge up to a week or in the freezer up to 3 months. Can't wait to see your macarons now. Good luck! To order your kit, just visit artisanchocolatery.com. Thank you for watching.